Am I the asshole for cancelling and letting my wife go on a weekend break alone? Myself and my wife have been married for 6 years. Things have not been so great the last months. She suggested that we go away for the weekend and we booked a weekend break in Amsterdam. We both live in Bath, so not a long flight for us. I work for an American company on West Coast hours, so finish work a lot later than her. But I was able to make arrangements to finish early on Thursday. Our flight was Friday morning. She has class after work on Thursdays. It is an online course, so not that taxing, and she didn't need to leave the house to go. She starts work at 9 a.m. and finished at 5:30 p.m. Her class runs from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. When she finished work, she came into my office. I work from home as well. Told me she was going to pack as she had to get up at 6 the next morning to drive. I told her that was not okay. That we both had to clean up. That she should start. And that when I finished in 2 hours I would help her finish off cleaning the house. She said she was tired and had been in front of her desk for 13 hours. This is a lie. She had a half-hour break between 5:30 and 6. She also has a lot of freedom from her job and constantly leaves her PC for 20 and 30 minutes during the day. I told her I didn't think it was fair that I would have to clean the house on my own. She shot back that I should NT and that it would be fine when we got back. I hate coming back from vacation to a dirty house. I told her that is, she wasn't willing to help me clean the house. I wasn't going away in the morning. She said fine, told me to you do you. She packed her back and went to bed. I slept in the spare room and she woke me the next morning, asking where my bag was. I told her I hadn't packed and wasn't going anywhere. She flies back tomorrow morning. We have been texting back and forth and she hasn't said anything about me not coming. My mom and dad think I was right not to go. But my best friend said I was being unreasonable. Is my wife going to leave me? X200B. Am I the asshole for not going on a weekend break when my wife refused to help me clean the house? You're the asshole. You sound insufferable. You're the asshole. You essentially told her the neatness of your house while you aren't even in. It is more important than your marriage. You work West Coast hours. Didn't you have all morning to clean? How long did you work that day? You're the asshole. You seriously ruined valuable time with your wife because of a messy house. Housework could have waited. You realize you just put the importance of housework above the importance of your marriage, right? You say the last few months haven't been great. Yet you pull this. Oof. Well, I hope you cleaned the damned house during your weekend alone. After all, you do so hate coming home to a messy house. You're the asshole. So she worked 9-10 p.m. whilst you worked 8 hours on a different time zone setting. You could have cleaned the house in the morning before you started work. But I guess that would have inconvenienced your sleep. You're the asshole. Let's hope she divorces and takes you to the cleaners. You have no respect for her and you're a clueless asshat. I hate coming back from vacation to a dirty house. Then clean the house. It's not rocket science. Also, it's just a weekend, and as you said, things were going not so great in the marriage for a few months. And you choose to fight over cleaning. Edit to vote. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. This was a chance to spend quality time with your wife when you know you've had rough times, and just because you didn't want to come home to a dirty house, what would happen? As long as the dishes are done, that's really all that is an issue. Sure, clutter is a downer, but it's not the end of the world. You threw a tantrum and chose not to join your wife. You sound like you're too busy marking points in a column for who is busier than focusing on enjoying a trip together. Your wife seems to be trying to work on your marriage. You seem to find more joy in demeaning her and pouting. Yes. She should leave you if you refuse to put work into the relationship. If you think she does nothing important all day long. Op. Can you list 5 things you like about your wife? You're the asshole. You are childish and petty. Letting my wife go on a weekend break alone. Letting her. She might decide that she enjoyed going without you. It's something to think about. You're the asshole. Statistically speaking, most people just one partner decide it's time to divorce upon returning from vacation. I hope you used the weekend to clean the house. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. I hate coming home to a dirty house. Is a you problem, not an us problem. This is the funniest shit I read. If you feel like she might leave you, then you already know you are an R. Who cancels a whole trip over a petty argument? WTF is wrong with you? Everything else aside, the argument was your fault to begin with. I hope she does leave you, because this trip was to rekindle your marriage and you didn't even bother to put enough effort to go let alone rekindle anything. You're the asshole. And side note, obviously your parents will be on your side. Face with rolling eyes. Face with rolling eyes. Face with rolling eyes. You're the asshole. How could you not even think this? I hate coming back from vacation to a dirty house. All your anger issues, not hers. I can see why things haven't been great recently. Maybe get a better attitude. Yours sucks. So she has to work for 13h a day and do at least 2 hours of cleaning, and you work 11h and might help at the end. Say there is 1 hour of cleaning left at the end, then she would work 16h and you 12h, and she has to drive in the morning, which is dangerous when you are tired. YTA. She definitely should leave you. You're the asshole. Are you looking for an excuse to leave your marriage? You are an emotionally abusive manipulator. Please get help, and I hope your wife wakes up and leaves you if this is how you treat her. Your whole post screams you're the asshole. The weekend thing is not even the biggest part. YTA. You both sound stressed. And this trip was a chance to relax and reinforce your bond. And let's be real. Your wife leaving you was less of an issue than you coming home to a dirty home. And frankly, every time I've heard someone say you do you, the person is like 2 steps from checking out completely. IDK if she's going to leave you. But you two are definitely close to breaking the camel's back. You're the asshole. You are so condescending about your wife's work and schooling. And so pompous about your own worth and getting your own way. If you wanted to make your problems worse and make your wife think you might not be worth the effort, you succeeded. I'm guessing she hates coming home from vacation to a house full of an R. She'll dump you sooner or later. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. Op. Hope the clean house was worth it. She deserves so much better. Anyone else here listen to the jolly good ginger guy on TikTok? I keep thinking that our wife should divorce this guy ASAP. Just me? YTA. The marriage is over. My wife and I must just be good people. This damn sub has me confused as hell sometimes. Ah. You're the asshole. You are toxic and abusive. You don't own her, you don't tell her to clean and allow her to go on a trip. I hope she divorces you. Am I the asshole? For walking out of the kitchen anytime that my husband or his family try to help. I. F32 married my husband M35 6 years ago. I met him through a competitive soccer league. I played in university and he played semi-professional before he moved to North America. I have made an effort to learn how to cook meals from his country and have several cookbooks. He never complains and has praised my cooking often. We have cooked meals together for dinner parties and no complaints. I am currently pregnant with our first child and his mom and sister have come over to be here for the birth and help for a while. So the problem is that whenever I'm cooking, all three of them have started coming in and changing stuff around. It doesn't matter if I'm making something from their country or not. They have started coming in and saying stuff like, "Oh, that heat is too high-low for this meal," and they will change it, or adding ingredients, or things like that. When my Milsil cook, they get all offended if I offer any suggestions. My husband says to leave them alone because they know what they are doing. But he won't give me the same courtesy. So I've started walking away from the kitchen as soon as they change anything. I will simply walk out and go onto the deck with a sweet tea and enjoy the sunshine until it is time to eat. Now they are complaining that I am making them do all the cooking and just sitting there doing nothing. I said that it was their choice to help out with that meal and I appreciate their help. My husband says I'm being petty and vindictive, but I told him he said to let them help. So I am. I am sitting on the deck right now watching them fight because when I walked out they forgot about the roast and now it is dry AF. I'm thinking I might go for a drive and grab a burger while I'm out. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Will they try to tell you how to take care of your baby too? More trouble incoming. Not the asshole. His family is literally changing what you're working on without permission. This is the equivalent of sitting down beside someone who's drawing and erasing parts of their art. Because that's what you think is best. Maybe it's a cultural thing. But I would take the time to communicate your boundaries to your partner so he can actually understand your perspective. If he's capable of reasoning. That is. If no one will listen. Keep chillin' on the deck. Not the asshole. You are not being petty and vindictive. You are simply teaching a lesson about boundaries. If you were being petty, you would change all of the labels for the spices. I am currently pregnant with our first child and his mom and sister have come over to be here for the birth and help for a while. Are they actually helping? It doesn't sound like it. Don't be afraid to send them away if they are more stress than help. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. They even get offended by suggestions. But also get offended if you leave it to them. Your husband should be the one dealing with them and telling them to not mess around with the food being cooked. If they want it how they like it, they can cook it themselves. Not the asshole. But you should make your boundaries clear. You may have already and just not written it here. But they should know that if you're not allowed to interfere when they're cooking, they can't interfere when you're cooking. And if they want to do the cooking, fine. If not, butt out. And if your husband has an issue, he can also cook. Not the asshole. They are being rude and obnoxious. They can't have it both ways, so not the asshole. I am always in awe about these supposed family helpers that only stress out or depress the pregnant ladies in these stories. So good job OP for not letting them and finding you peace. Burger sounds about right. I suppose it is not possible for you to stay at your family's place for a while. That might be good as well. Stress and gang-ups are bad for the baby. Can't he give you not the R with a clear conscience as you are being somewhat petty? But your husband, Mill and Sill are all the R's. Not the arsehole. This is proper way to handle it. Not to get mad or frustrated. Just let them help all they want. Burgers do sound good. You have a husband problem. He should be saying this. Leave them alone because they know what they are doing. To his mum and sister. And if his mum and sister are causing you more stress than they are helping, then maybe you should have a conversation with your husband about managing without them visiting. Not the arsehole. Not the arsehole and enjoy your ride. Burger a night at a hotel with a spa would be a nice little detour as well. Not the arsehole. Yeah. You're being slightly petty. But for fuck's sake, you're pregnant and these two women who are ostensibly there to help are instead causing your stress and frustration. Enjoy your burger. Not the arsehole. I don't even think you're being petty. They wanted to come in and change everything. Clearly. They wanted to do the cooking themselves. Or, more likely, they were just enjoying bullying you in your own kitchen. They know it's wrong because they don't like to receive advice while cooking either. Enjoy your tea. Enjoy your drive. Enjoy your burger. They can be mad. You don't have to deal with their nonsense. And your husband should be defending you. Go get that burger, girl. Not the arsehole. Not the arsehole. And you made me laugh. There's actually an old saying. Something along the lines of too many cooks spoil the broth. You should get a plaque made. Enjoy your drive and burger. Not the arsehole. Oh. I need to start doing this instead of getting irrationally angry. I've gotten better, but it's mostly if it's in the morning pre-coffee when there are too many people in the kitchen. Good move, grin. Not the arsehole. Not the arsehole and make your husband cook if he wants to have an opinion. Enjoy the burger. Not the arsehole and your husband needs to wake the F up and back you up. I really don't know who he can be so hypocritical and not realize. He's talking to you about getting out of their way when they cook. What about when they get in your way? Not the arsehole. I give some grace to Mill Sill, but Hub's gotta get it together. This is all his fault. What more can you do within the bounds of polite society? Not the arsehole. Honey, you are in a no-win situation. Not the arsehole. My Mill used to do this to me every single time I attempted to cook in their household. Fiancé and I currently live with his parents, and it became irritating to me after a couple of times that I just stopped trying to cook there altogether. She would be like, "Oh, you're not adding enough seasoning, you need to add more," and would just start to grab it and do it herself, and literally would not leave me alone the entire time to cook in peace. Not the arsehole at all. Husband can't have it both ways. But unfortunately for you, I suspect all their kitchen help will go out the window once the baby comes. They'll be too busy helping with the baby, aka fighting over who gets to hold them all the time, while you go back to being full-time hostess. You're definitely not the arsehole, but husband and his family suck, and I wish you the best in dealing with them postpartum. I hope you handle it as well as you did with this situation. I think this is the perfect reaction. If your husband won't have your back, if he and they are that rude, then they get what they ask for and you get a break. Well done. Not the arsehole. Not the arsehole. There are two choices. You leave me to cook and eat what I put in front of you, or you take over and I'll eat what's in front of me. Your choice. Am I the arsehole for telling my girlfriend I'm going to a wedding that has no plus ones? So I was invited to my cousin's wedding. My mom received the invitation and told me about it. And to also invite my GF. So I did invite and we agreed to go. Fast forward a couple of weeks. But still 2 months before the wedding. Talking to my mom again, turns out no plus ones. That only the names on the invitation can go. My mom, siblings, and I told my girlfriend, sorry, there was a mistake, there's no plus ones, but I am still going as my mom would like me to go, and it would be nice to see some family I haven't seen in a while. Well, needless to say, she lost it. Said I wasn't prioritizing her. Said I was a mama's boy because my mom wants me to go still. And blaming my mom for uninviting her. It was a huge fight. One that honestly took weeks to settle down by basically me not going to the wedding. Even though I still wanted to go. Am I the asshole for still saying I was going to go to the wedding? Not the asshole. Your mom didn't uninvite your GF. Your GF was never invited. Your mom misunderstood the invitation. Mistakes happen. Your GF is overreacting. Not the asshole. It was a misunderstanding. And she was never invited. How is going to a family wedding disrespecting her? This doesn't seem reasonable or healthy. Not the asshole. Go to your cousin's wedding and see your family. You will regret missing it. Your GF is controlling and it won't stop here. OFFSU GF was so out of line here. There was a misunderstanding and she acted very badly. It's unfortunate that you felt you had to miss the wedding to placate her. When this all settles down, think about whether this is typical behavior for her. If so, take a look at whether this is who you want to be with. How is it being a mama's boy to want to go to a family member's wedding that you were invited to? That's an alarming conclusion to jump to. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Your GF's red flags have their own red flags. This is super controlling. Get used to a life of being guilt-tripped over every decision. Run for your life. Not the asshole. You don't control the invitee's decisions. Your mom made a mistake encouraging you to invite your G-friend. Mistakes happen. Yes. You should attend the event and visit with family and folks who have been in your life. Her not attending is not a personal insult. Weddings are expensive and many couples have strict budgets to adhere to. Her reaction was extreme. There's no need to put you down. What will be the next topic that causes her to lose it? This will likely occur again, so decide what you want in life. You are not the R. But your GF is. Dump this woman before it is too late. She is awful. Not the asshole. Those are some big red flags on your GF part. Not the asshole. That is one irrational reaction. So many red flags. Your girlfriend is being childish. Go to your cousin's wedding. It's not your fault or your mom's that you don't have a one. Not the asshole. Your girlfriend dropped these location flag, location flag, location flag, location flag, location flag. Not the asshole. Her behavior is controlling and frankly disgusting. You should have gone. She doesn't get to call you names and gaslight you because she's having a tantrum. Info. Has anything happened before between your girlfriend and your mom? You are not the asshole in this scenario. Your mom didn't do anything wrong either. Just an innocent mistake. Just wondering if your GF is actually unhinged or if she and your mom have other beef that would make her jump to wild conclusions. Not the asshole. Go to the wedding, have a good time, let her be angry she was never invited in the first place and she is making everything about herself. Not the asshole. Your girlfriend is overreacting and you should still go to the wedding without her. That being said, how does one not read the invitation correctly? It literally has the names of your family members and nobody else, no +1. Next time you receive a wedding invitation, make sure to actually read instead of just relying on your mom to relay the information to you. Info: how long have you been dating your GF? If this is a relatively new relationship, then it's a bummer she can't come. And it's unfortunate that there was a misunderstanding. But she's overreacting and I don't see any reason why you shouldn't go. But if you've been together like 10 years and the fact that you're not married is a technicality, I could see her not being invited as a snub on the part of your cousin. And I would get her being offended. Not the asshole. Very immature of your GF. I get being upset initially. It sucks because weddings are fun as fuck. I would definitely be bummed, but that wasn't your fault. And not your decision. She shouldn't tell you you can't see family. Is there a way she can meet up afterwards? After party? Not the asshole. Your GF needs to grow up. Not the asshole. GF is really immature. And her reaction is a major red flag for continuing a relationship with her. She clearly isn't family oriented. That should be a deal breaker. Not the asshole. Though you are an asshole for not going to the wedding and seeing your family. Not the asshole. Break up with her. This isn't a healthy or reasonable reaction to a minor misunderstanding. Not the asshole. It's not your mother's fault that +1s were not invited. And you are not a mama boy for following the request. You should have gone to the wedding. Your GF is controlling and conceited. Not the asshole. Seems like it wasn't even your mom's fault really. Anyways, that's a big red flag that you going to a family wedding is a meltdown-worthy situation. Not the asshole. But if my GF ever pulled that kind of stunt, I'd go to the wedding newly single. Not the asshole, and this is a huge red flag. You let her walk all over you. Not the asshole, and that's a big red flag. Weddings are expensive. +1s don't always work. Makes sense for family invites to not have extras. You'll be gone for a couple days seeing friends and family. The audacity. This shouldn't be an issue at all. Not the asshole. I've gone to my cousin's wedding and a family friend's wedding with no +1. If your girlfriend is gonna get mad about that, then that's her problem. It would be different if you were engaged or married. But right now she's just the girlfriend. Sorry. Not the asshole. Your GF is out of line for freaking out. Some people can't afford to offer +1s for everybody. Sucks you missed seeing your family. Over what may or may not be a short-lived relationship. Not the asshole. It was not needless to say she lost it. It was immature and inappropriate that she did. That isn't how healthy relationships work. Not the asshole. What is she? 12. You're not the asshole for wanting to go. But you're the asshole for staying with that walking red flag. Not the asshole. She wasn't uninvited. She wasn't invited. You should have gone to the wedding. And if she's going to be that childish, you may want to rethink your relationship. Not the asshole. It's not as if she's the only +1 being excluded. Her reaction would only be slightly warranted if that were the case. Your mom made an oversight, corrected it, and you still want to see family. The fact that she goes to personal attacks when she's upset is not great. Needless to say she lost it. What? No. That's not needless to say. She got upset over a simple misunderstanding. Am I the asshole for taking my fiancé's dinner after he touched mine? I'll be quick. My F26 fiancé M32 is blind. We don't disagree a lot except he always gets bothered whenever I eat different food from what he's eating when we go out. Like, if we're having dinner out and I order else, he'd instantly get upset and accuse me of treating him as less than when I just have different taste in foods. I'd just eat what he eats to keep the piece I eat out alone as alternative, but since he clearly doesn't trust me, he'd randomly touch my plate to see if I'm having the same dish. This caused huge arguments between us, and I told him to stop doing it and he said he would. We went out to eat nights ago, and I ordered the same dish he ordered. When the food arrived, he looked somewhat uncomfortable. I asked what was wrong and he refused to say. And before I could even grab the fork, he extended his arm and his hand touched the food on my plate. He moved quickly and started excusing what he did, saying he just wanted to make sure. But I lost it on him. I felt so grossed out and there was no way I could eat the food after he touched it. He tried to get me to drop it, saying I shouldn't be grossed out by his hand, and that I overreacted, etc. But I grabbed his plate and told him that I was taking it as my donna. He at first asked me to be rational and give the plate back, but I refused. An argument ensued and we had a fight. He then ended up leaving, started spam texting me accusing me of being bitter, pathetic and childish, and robbing his dinner. He went to stay with his friend who picked him up and his friend sided with him, saying I was in the wrong. Even went as far as to say that I was abusing my fiancé and financially controlling him when I pointed out that I was the one who paid for the food. The problem is magnified now with him wanting an apology and me refusing to give him one. My parents think I should have more patience and that this is just typical love spats between us. But I'm not sure. Was I the R with how I handled this? Edit. I want to point out that this is not the case when we ate at home. He has no issue with me eating different food. But in public it's a different story. Info. Why on earth does he insist that you must order the same dish he orders at restaurants? And why on earth are you actually following this rule he's implemented? This is ridiculously controlling. Why are you with someone this irrational and controlling? I just eat what he eats to keep the peace. You know that's not okay, right? Not the asshole, but Henry think this relationship. Not the asshole. It's not abuse to want your so to not put the damn hands on your food. Not the asshole. What in the shitting hell did I just read? He throws a strop if you don't order exactly the same meal as him. And if you do, he touches your food. This man is deranged. Run far. Run fast. Not the asshole. List of red flags. Him insisting you eat the same food as him. Him feeling he has the right to check to make sure. Him putting his hands on your food. Him continuing to touch your food after saying he would stop. X200B. There is something going on there. And you shouldn't ignore it. Your fiancé is extremely controlling. You can't even order what you want at a restaurant. Why are you hanging on to this relationship? Not the asshole, but you can do better and are not required to torture yourself this way. Not sure why you believe you deserve to be treated like this. It's not normal or okay or even a small thing. Get out now. WTF did I just read? You're prepared to marry someone who literally thinks it's reasonable to control what you eat and puts his hands in your food because he doesn't trust you. Not the asshole, but why would you evenly vaguely agree to this? Not the asshole. Okay, look, his behavior is unacceptable on so very many levels. Why can't you just get what you want? How on earth does he think you're getting something else? He's not deaf too, is he? Why doesn't he trust you? Honey, you are living in a sea of red flags. I don't care that your fiancé is blind, he is controlling, immature, and frankly ridiculous. You can do better. Not the asshole. Please don't marry this man. He won't let you order something different from what he orders. Girl. Are you really so desperate? Is the bar really this low? Being single is better than this. Please leave this manipulative weirdo. It's only gonna get worse. Not the asshole. He is super controlling. Why on earth do you have to eat the same meal as him when you're going out? He said he would stop touching your food and he lied. Not the asshole. Do not marry this guy, he is acting super controlling and emotionally immature. Like, who gets upset someone is eating different food from them who isn't 5 years old? Also, he doesn't trust you or respect your boundaries and sounds like a miserable person. He's weird. You're not allowed to eat unless it's the same thing he's eating. Leave this man immediately. He is blind, not deaf. Can't he bloody hear you giving the order? Not the asshole. Just because you're blind doesn't mean you are excused from having manners. The idea of you eating something different being perceived slight to him is so ridiculous. If that's his hang-up, then you order and he eats whatever you eat. It's only different when he can't control you. Then you actually agree to this controlling BS and he still can't respect your boundaries. Oh, an apology is owed, but by him to you. Hope other things make this relationship worthwhile because he sounds horrible. Not the asshole. My son is disabled. Disabilities are not an excuse to control people. Not the asshole. I still don't understand the whole I can't order different food than him cause he will feel less. Then does he do this with all his friends? Everybody at the table must order what he gets so he doesn't feel inferior. It makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely not the asshole. Dear Lord. Your fiancé seems like he could use some help. I don't find it at all normal that you have to eat the exact same thing as him. And you shouldn't do so just to keep the peace. Not the asshole. And first things first. Why do you have to order same food as him? This is already a red flag control issue. Now he doesn't trust you and is touching your escalating. You need to ask yourself if you can live like this for the rest of your why. Shoot. If you have kids, do the kids also have to eat the same food? Or will they get to eat different and then you can nibble off the plate? See how ridiculous this life is. It's too much. Not the asshole. This is absolutely nothing to do with who touched whose food. But it's everything to do with the fact you're with a man so controlling of you that he dictates what you eat. This is a massive red flag. Does he control other areas of your life as well like this? Apologize. I'm sorry I wasted this much time on a control freak. I wish you a good life. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, but you'd be tartar yourself if you married this guy. What psychological torment is he trying to pull, policing your eating under some BS excuse? You need to leave him. Cut your losers and enjoy a lifetime of getting to order what you actually want to eat. Not the asshole. It's weird and unhygienic to touch other people's food. Also, his whole rule about eating the same thing is so odd. And the way he's treating it so seriously feels super controlling. Your fiancé is bitter, pathetic and childish. Not the asshole. There are a lot of red flags here. Don't marry a man who is this controlling and disrespectful. He can just stay with that friend. Am I the asshole for correcting my stepdaughter's dad when he called me her nanny? I've been with my wife for 8 years now. She has primary custody of her daughter, Santana. Santana sees her dad, Mark, every other weekend and some holidays. As I've been one of Santana's primary caretakers for the past 7 years since I moved in with her mom, I've taken care of her more than Mark has, and we are quite close. My wife and I went on to have 2 children together, who are now 5 years and 18 months. I've been a stay-at-home dad since the 5-year-old was born. As a result, I'm the one making lunches, driving kids to activities, etc. That includes for Santana. Mark has always felt insecure about my place in Santana's life. I've always encouraged her relationship with her dad, while also being a place she can go to in order to vent about both her parents. I've never asked her to call me dad, but I've made it clear I love her the same as her siblings. And she's also said she loves me and considers me her second dad. Mark also mocks me for my SAHD role. My wife always shuts him down and I just ignore him. He has in the past jokingly called me Santana's nanny and I just roll my eyes and say whatever you think, Mark. I really don't see him much, as my wife will take Santana to her dad's and pick her up. However, yesterday, my wife was sick and asked me to pick up Santana. She really couldn't get out of bed and I knew Mark wasn't going to drive out to us. He's refused in the past. So, I went over to his place to pick her up. He was throwing a barbecue and had some family there. I had never met any of them. Santana ran into my arms, excited to see me and shouting my name. A few people looked at Mark curiously. He laughed and said, "That's Santana's nanny." I shook my head and said, "I'm her stepfather. Greg. Nice to meet you all." Mark turned red and barely said goodbye to Santana. I didn't think much of it outside Mark just being Mark. However, Mark texted my wife later saying I humiliated him and given I'd likely never see those people again. I shouldn't have said anything. My wife told him he's overreacting and he then texted me, saying I had no right to correct him in his own home. He asked what was the big deal in his family thinking I'm her nanny. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole, but man, Mark must be feeling really insecure about himself, that's for sure. You're doing great, Greg. Santana is lucky to have you. What? No, not the asshole. And you certainly didn't humiliate anyone. He asked what was the big deal in his family thinking I'm her nanny. Did you respond because it's not the truth? Not the asshole. And not just for what you said. He has probably told everyone there at some point a story about his ex and partner. You turn up. Nice and pleasant. His daughter clearly adores you. And Elle can see people putting together the puzzle and coming up with a different picture. And he was caught in his own bullshit. Not the asshole. He humiliated himself. You sound like a great parent. Not the asshole. The big deal is that you're not her nanny. He was embarrassed because his daughter was so excited to see you in front of his family. So he tried to minimize your importance. When you corrected him, he was exposed as an insecure liar. His family knows how often he sees his daughter. They also now have proof of her affection towards you, the man who lives with her and raises her. He humiliated himself. Not the asshole. Mark humiliated himself by calling you a nanny. You merely set the record straight. Well played. And good for you for standing up for yourself. Him calling you nanny in front of his family was both an insult and a power play. You correcting him in front of his family not only pulled the rug out from under him, it demonstrated to his family and friends how much of a jerk he is. Always be civil to the step-parents' parents in front of the kids. Always. That's basic expectations. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. If Santana witnessed this, you should tell her that you love her and you love your role as her stepfather. Let her know that Mark's comments about you being the nanny upset you. Because you are a much more important person in her life than a nanny would be. Make sure Santana knows that you care about her and that her father's comments are hurtful for that reason. Not the asshole. In his attempt to humiliate you, he humiliated himself. They call this just desserts. Clearly he's a deeply insecure person who is likely jealous of your involvement with Santana. You handled it perfectly, calling him out factually in front of everyone. My guess is he will now stop calling you. Of course he wants you to teach him another lesson. Not the asshole. It's rich that he feels humiliated when that was his entire aim in introducing you. You handled it with class. Not the asshole. You're one of the good ones and Mark should be damn thankful for that. You have earned your place in your stepdaughter's life and bio dad doesn't get to take that away. It's more jealousy than anything. Just continue what you're doing. Santana will know who was there and made the effort and who didn't. Mark needs to cut you some slack considering you are doing what he is unable to do. Not the asshole. Play stupid games. Get humiliated. Not the asshole. Mark humiliated himself by being incorrect, and petty to boot. Not the asshole. You are by fact her stepfather and not her nanny. If he can't stand it then Mark needs to grow up. I mean H is trying to tellin' you to your wife tears of joy. What's next? Calling your mom or mill tears of joy. Boo poor Mark. Does Mark's family not know that his ex remarried almost a decade ago? Not the asshole. That guy sounds like a real winner. Not the asshole. Mark deserved the smack anyway. But that is really funny. Not the asshole. Mark should consider himself lucky to have stepfather like you in his daughter's life. Sounds like he's salty because he tried to humiliate you in front of his family. Good for you for standing your ground. Not the asshole. And it is a big deal because he is belittling not only you but his daughter by reducing your relationship to that of an employee. If he doesn't want to be humiliated, he shouldn't say stupid and untrue things. You did nothing wrong. Keep being that awesome bonus dad to Santana and Mark can go pound sand. Not the asshole. Man, fuck Mark, you did the right thing. You were nicer than I would have been. I would have said I was the plumber that keeps cleaning his ex-wife's pipes. Not the asshole. Damn. What was he, BB King? His own foot? He sure was in a hurry to stick it in his mouth. Not the asshole. He played himself and it backfired and now he's embarrassed. He then texted me, saying I had no right to correct him in his own home. Similar to the way he's had no right to mislabel your role for the past X number of years. He asked what was the big deal in his family thinking I'm her nanny. What's the big deal if his family knows you're her stepfather? Mark just played the FAFO game and lost. Gosh. I can't imagine why your wife divorced this small, petty, insecure man. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for forcing my 18-year-old daughter to spend time with her disabled sister? I have two daughters, a 18-year-old who will be going to college in the fall. And I have an autistic high-needs nonverbal daughter. Due to severe behavioral issues, we had to make the gut-wrenching decision to place her in a group home when she was only 12. However, we bring her home every other weekend. her birthday, and all holidays. She's done a lot better but still isn't perfect and dare you admit can be a handful. It took me a while to catch on to this trick, but I've been noticing since my eldest daughter's 18th birthday 9 months ago she has been busy plans with friends, boyfriend, picking up shifts at work etc. Citing that she's 18 and can come and go as she pleases, doesn't have to listen to us etc. always seem to happen the weekends her sister is home. And on weekends now, weekdays as well, since it's summer break when her sister is not home she is mysteriously around more. I told her how important family is for people with developmental disabilities, and since her father and I are paying for her college in full, we expect her to be a part of her sister's life if she wants us to continue paying for her college. So since it's every other weekend, she has to spend at least one of those weekends at home with the family and spend time with her sister. I noticed her avoiding her sister, and that's not okay with us. And if she refuses, we will not pay for her college. Am I the asshole? You're the asshole. You can force her into spending time with her sister by threatening to not pay for her college. But guess what? That won't make her love her sister more. It will make her resent you though. And as soon as she moves out, she won't spend any time with her sister or you. You're the asshole. Question: how much did your younger daughter disrupt the family home until you put her into a group home? I get it's heartbreaking, but if that is something you need to think about. You're the asshole. An appropriate response would be, it looks like you've been avoiding your sister. What's going on? What's bothering you? Forcing a relationship is just going to create drama and resentment. I don't even think this is necessarily benefiting your younger daughter. She may be disabled, but she's not stupid. We know when people resent us. And resentment is what you inevitably get when you curtail someone's freedom and try to force a relationship. As if you can simply compel that to happen. You're the asshole. Big time, you're the asshole. You have 2 daughters with needs and considerations. Not just one. And punishing one because she has thoughts, wants, needs, and so on beyond what you want her to do is extremely abusive. Maybe you should stop and think about why your daughter doesn't even apparently trust you enough as her mother to communicate what may be wrong. Threatening to cut her off for trying to be her own individual shows how much you value her as an individual. Compromise and communicate or risk losing her down the road. Soft: you're the asshole. Have you tried asking your 18-year-old why she doesn't want to go see her sister? Being the sibling to a special needs child can be so hard on the sibling. That's not a knock against your parenting, that's just how things go. Showing your 18-year-old some sympathy and some interest in her feelings should have been your first step. Not going the nuclear route of taking away her financial support. It is important for siblings to have a relationship. But you can't force it. You're the asshole. I understand the sentiment. But you are breeding resentment here. Holding her college tuition, which I'm sure you already promised her, on the sole condition that she attends college over her head, is not going to make her a better sister. Most siblings go off and do their own things around this age. Anyways, I think it's best if you simply have a conversation about your thoughts and feelings. And let your daughter make her own decisions for now. It's probably better in the long run. You're the asshole. You shouldn't force anyone to hang out with a family member. All you're going to end up doing is pushing your daughter away. Dude, that's an excellent parenting choice. If you want your daughter to move out and never speak to you again. You're the asshole. How much of her time and attention has your oldest daughter had to sacrifice already for her sister? How often did she have to miss parties, events, birthdays, holidays because her sister needed the attention? She's a young woman trying to figure out her life. Going to college. Falling in love. Maybe. And you're trying to blackmail her into spending time with her sister. Do it. Take away the college tuition. She will go NC and all you'll have is a daughter who you cannot communicate with you and will never give you grandchildren or help you when you're sick. Good luck. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. Not because you want your daughter to spend time with her sister but for holding her financial future hostage to do so. This is incredibly manipulative and I wouldn't be surprised if she grows to resent you and her sister in later years. You've just shown your daughter that your assistance comes with strings attached. Info when she is around her sister. What are their interactions like? Is she caring for her? Are they both hanging out? Is it focused on her sister? Let me ask you what your plan is. After 4 years when your oldest graduates resenting both you and her sister for the forced interaction and cuts you out of her life. I mean, what are you going to use extort her then? You're the asshole. Talk to your daughter and ask her what's going on, but to hold a college deduction over her head is an R move. I also wonder what your plan is if your daughter calls your bluff. You're going to just cut her off? Really? You're the asshole and your plan won't work. Instead, it will alienate your 18Y from your family. How do I know? I work with PPL with disabilities. And sadly many non-disabled siblings lose contact, feel they never had a parent anyway, resist parentification. Using money and your daughter's future to force her to do something you've probably forced her to do since childhood. That'll end well. See you in 20 years on your post. Why won't my functioning daughter speak to me? You're the asshole. You're the asshole. Her life shouldn't revolve around her sister. If anything, forcing her will make her resent you and her sister. She's 18. It's normal for her to be going her own way. Edit. You've also moved your 16-year-old out of your own primary care, which means it has been difficult for you. So why should your 18-year-old feel obliged to spend time with someone you sent away? You're the asshole. You're financially blackmailing your daughter. Just because your 18-year-old is neurotypical doesn't mean her feelings don't matter. Info. Have you spoke with your oldest daughter to ask why she doesn't like being around her sister? Info. Have you actually had a conversation with your daughter about this to get her side? Or have you gone full nuclear? You're avoiding your sister. This is my rules. Or no college money. You're the asshole. You're just going to make your oldest daughter resent you and cut contact when she graduates. Enjoy the time you're forcing her to share with you now, because it will end soon once you have nothing to blackmail her with. Your daughter has been dealing with her sister's behavior for most of her life. She deserves a break. She didn't sign on for this, but you did when you gave birth. Let her enjoy her this summer. You're the asshole. Whether you're the asshole or not, this isn't going to end well for you. What are you going to do if she figures out how to pay for college herself and cuts all contact?